Môre.
Môre.
Good morning, goeiemôre. Nobody answers us. All right, good morning, guys, and welcome to winter. This is winter time in Tauranga, or nearly there.
Yeah, we had some lovely rain
Summer
last
was
night.
too short,
It's nice
way
and
too short.
fresh
So,
outside.
now the wife just needs me to get out of the house and go fishing, but that's the problem with winter. We stay home. We're like bears. Right, but we're not here to talk about fishing this morning, are we?
No, we actually had a discussion on the topic that we are talking about this
Yeah.
morning just a few weeks ago. So apparently we're talking about it again.
But I think this time we're going to take it a bit better.
Oh.
Not a bit better. This morning we're talking all about marriages and will your marriage survive immigration?
I think that is a
Yeah.
huge question.
Even let's go further and say marriage and partnerships. People come unmarried here as partners living together, and will that survive immigration? Because that is quite difficult. And I know we've had a bit of a discussion in the past on saying why it will and why it won't, and so on. But I still think at the end of the day, it could last.
Mm.
I
I
think it could
think
last.
you must just be open-minded when you decide to immigrate. I think you're so excited about the
Yeah.
venture that you're going into that you forget what kind of strain it will put on your
Mm.
relationship,
Well, the one person is excited, and
and
the
the
other
other
one
one
is
is
not.
not.
So that could also be the other factor as well.
Yeah.
Or what I've found as well, some of the people I spoke to is one person is not excited but decides to make the move, while the other person is very excited about the move. Um, so you're sitting with two people having the same decision of which one is not very sure, and that's difficult.
Yeah. The thing is just everyone has got a different personality. So the way
Mm.
that he deals with stressors is much different than the way that I do. And what you must also remember is back in South Africa, or whichever country you come from, you had a support system. You had your sisters or
Mm.
your mom or whoever, your friends that you can confide in. And now all of a sudden, you can't find those people because some of them warned you not to immigrate.
Now, they're the last people you can
You
call.
don't want to, if they speak to you, everything is great. We South
Yeah.
Africans, we're very proud. Huh?
So,
Yeah.
and the thing is, I mean, back in South Africa, if she hit me, I could call my mum.
And vice versa. So yeah, when you immigrate now, all of a sudden you only have each other to rely on,
Yeah.
and remember that sometimes.
And that feels sometimes like hugging a prickly pear.
But the thing is, in some instances, you actually have to learn to speak to each other
Yeah.
and learn to confide in each other. Where in South Africa, you had someone else that you can talk to.
Mm.
Now he's the only guy that you can talk to, and the thing is, which is always true in all circumstances, is the person that you love the most is also the person
You
that
hate
you
the
end up.
most.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to put this camera up a bit higher. Sorry about that. Because
Okay.
this morning we're looking a bit weird. The camera's looking up at us.
Okay, is that better now?
That's better now. Yeah. That's your best side now.
Yeah. And you have to learn not to take everything that the other person says so personally, because he's actually just trying to deal with the way that he has to deal with immigration because of what he feels like. And it's not directed to you as a person. He
Yeah.
just has to speak his mind. And the same with the woman. What I found in a lot of instances is if the woman starts to talk to her husband about how she's feeling alone and she's feeling sad and she doesn't have anyone, and she cries a lot or whatever, they tend to end up asking, oh, so do you want to go back home or whatever? That's not what she's saying. She's just saying that she's feeling sad, and she is not happy at the moment, but it doesn't mean that she wants to go back home. I was also
Are you
in the
saying we're not
beginning,
understanding you?
no, you don't.
I was wondering about that.
And the other way around, the person that wanted to come or the person that initiated the coming to New Zealand is probably very happy. So you feeling sad, he's feeling happy, and you kind of resent him for
Mm.
feeling happy. How can he be happy and just happy go lucky all the time, and you feel like your world just
Don't
gave
you
in?
think that? So, okay, it's good morning, Andrew. just to, you don't think that the people have got this facade that they put up and to make the world think, even their partners think they are happy.
Sometimes I think
So, I
yes.
mean, I know if I'm very unhappy and so on, I can't come home with that.
But you actually can.
Yeah, but I'm a man. I'm a man. A man is not supposed to come home
Mm.
telling the wife, "Oh, I'm so unhappy." Yeah, then the wife would want to say, then the wife's going to say, "Hey, you want to go home?" So, but I am home. And she would say, "You want to go back to South Africa, wherever you come from?" So, yeah, that's one thing. I think men pretend to be happy. We sometimes need to pretend that we are happy.
Yeah, but we
Except
actually,
when we're fishing, then we're really happy.
yeah, it is very difficult um, to just be yourself
Mm,
and to just, I don't know, for the other person to just take you as you are at
yeah.
that moment and not feel that they've got something to do with the mood that you're in. You are just in that mood.
On the other side, uh, we've got another. We're live this morning on 8 different channels, one of which is Australian channel as well. But on the one channel, John Fraser said he just asked his wife the other day if she want to go home. So what do we do now?
Well, if you asked her if she wants to go home and she said
Mm.
yes, you asked the question.
Guys, I think if you reach this point where you have in your mind the doubt if this is the right country, you have to take a step back. And
Mm.
it happened to me. It really, I promise you, it happened to me. I had the doubt that this was the right country for me. Um, Luckily, it only happened once, but it was a very, very hectic experience. And that day, I realized what everybody else probably has gone through. I had to take a step back and say, okay, stop everything you're thinking of.
Mm.
Stop saying how expensive petrol is. Stop saying how expensive the rent is. Stop saying how expensive a Coke was, because that was what triggered me, the price of a Coke. And I had to take a step back and say, why have I left South Africa? Because suddenly all the bad things that made me leave South Africa were totally forgotten.
It happens very quickly,
Yeah,
huh?
it
Yeah.
happens like this. One day I just bought a Coke and I said, 45 rand, 45 rands for a Coke. This is crazy. I would
Yeah.
be better off home. A bit of home would be kidnapping, raping, blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
But,
relax.
my wife said, relax. But I had to take the step and I had to go mentally back
Mm.
to why I am here. And this happens to you, and I know it happens to you out there. And I know that that's a reason why people start doubting the move. Was this the right move? I mean, I speak to a lot of people all over, and this is sometimes guys say, "Yeah, I would have been better off home." And then I have to sit with them and say, why would you have been better off home? Would you have
Mm.
wanted to live in that circumstances that you left?
I think you must just be realistic.
Be
Write down
realistic. Go
why did
back.
you
Yeah,
come, what's making you unhappy at the moment.
yeah.
And then what I just want to say is it is and in South Africa it was hard, it is hard work
Mm,
always. Marriage is hard work. So in South Africa it was hard work. Be prepared. When you immigrate, it's even worse. You really, because you're alone and because you only have each other, it's not easy. So
yeah.
if your relationship in South Africa wasn't the best, prepare yourself. Don't come with the thinking, oh no, immigration's going to make everything better.
It's going to be a rocky
It's
road.
yes,
It's going to be a rocky
but
road.
it is worth it.
So,
I think you must
yeah.
just give yourself some time.
I,
Give.
I want to put this up.
Mm,
I want to put this up. This summarize. You only miss familiar things. Everyone goes through it for about 3 years. You stop complaining about your new country. That is so. You only miss the good at the end of the day.
it's true. You forget
Yeah,
how.
you forget
Yeah.
why you've left the
Mm.
country. And you have to remind yourself. And I mean, that's probably not a good memory if you have to remind yourself. So sorry, I interrupted your speech there, and you allowed me.
No, you can go on.
uh, and on the other hand, Lil Detoy saying just wish the borders would open so myself and my wife can come over there. Guys, yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
The borders are still closed. Eh?
And the other thing, while we're talking about relationships, I don't know. I really don't know. I feel for the people that's
Mm.
alone in this country and their wives and kids are still overseas. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine what stress that puts on your relationship. I know of men here that's been here for a year and a half that hasn't seen their family in a year and a half.
Mm. There's some
What
women here as well
impact,
on the same.
yes, what impact does
So,
that have on your
mm,
relationship? You kind of learn to live without each other.
yeah.
So I can just
You guys are strong. Jeez, you guys
just
are strong.
imagine what it's going to be like when you're
Mm.
together again. You'll have to learn to live with each other again. This
We'll
is
probably have
really
to learn
hard.
to like each other again.
Yeah,
So,
well, I'm sure they will still like each
how to
other.
quickly put this up? Very true, guys. You go through all the stages of grief. Leaving is a huge choice. It can take
Yes.
2 to 7 years to just. Now that 2 to 7 years, it's really like that.
Mm.
And I want to say this morning. Yesterday, somebody that I know died in South Africa, and I know his daughter very well. We've been at school together and so on, but she's in a total different country, and she cannot go home to bury her father. And it's the same here this side. I mean, it's not only that New Zealand has this unique problem. So I think this problem is worldwide. The fact that the borders are closed now and people are really struggling to adapt more to than anything else. All right, the wife said we must go back
No,
north,
we
mate.
must stick to what the topic is.
Yeah, so let's then go off the topic. Ah, okay.
So, how did it impact our relationship, do you think? We had more trouble with our relationship after we decided to immigrate, still in South Africa, than what we
Yeah.
had when we arrived in New Zealand. Because I think what in our instance worked out very well is we had a year to adjust to the idea of we're going to immigrate. So I had a year in my mind to say goodbye to everything in South Africa and kind of get my mind around, okay, I'm going to live in a new country. And yes, I just had time and he had time to think about how it's going to be. Where in other instances, some people get their visas in like 3 weeks. There's no time for you to even contemplate what it's going to be like.
Mm.
It's just like pack, get on a plane, get here. And then all of a sudden it hits you and all this new stuff. And you didn't even speak to each other about it
Yeah.
actually. You just moved. So I think there can be a lot of resentment in some instances, which you really had to work through. The thing is, when we decided, or when he decided to immigrate, let me say it like this, um, I was actually very upset. We talked about immigration a long time before we even
Mm.
immigrated. And then talking about it, it seemed, I don't know, you're very excited. That will be nice, living in a new country and whatever. Because I knew that we can't live in South
You
Africa.
thought we were going to Italy.
Yeah, well, that would have been worse, I think. But once it hits you that this guy is really serious and he is getting the ball on the roll, and all of a sudden the ball is rolling, and you have to get your mind around it, then I started to think, okay, I didn't think he was serious. Um, this is it now.
Yep.
You got a job. Oh my word, we have to sell our house. You have to get rid of all your pets or decide if you want to take them with you. We still had kids that we couldn't bring with us. And you have to say goodbye to your parents and your family and your friends. And now you're thinking, what am I going to do on the other side? There's no one there. And I think that is kind of where I was actually kind of angry, shall I say. You're thinking, how dare you take me away from all of this? In your mind, you know it's the right thing to do, but you have to be angry at someone. So just be angry at
Yeah.
him.
And to go back to the topic of will your marriage survive? I mean, arriving this side wasn't. Yeah, they all speak English, or supposed to say they speak English. Sorry about the Kiwis, guys can't speak English. Uh, but that's about the only similarity you have with South Africa. The house, even the house, the way they build houses is different. So
Mm.
you have to adapt to all of that. Plus, you have to make your marriage work. And Yeah, that's really tough, and there's no handbook. There's no book that says this is how it's going to be.
Mm. I think the one person always thinks that he had to give up more than the other person, and actually it's not true. Everyone has to give up a lot
To
to
give up the
immigrate.
most from
Yeah.
us.
So you can't be angry at him, or maybe the other way around, for taking you out of your
Mm,
country, and I had to give up this and I had to give up that. He also had to give up a lot.
yeah.
So in the end, you have to think, do I love this guy enough to just move with him? And someone said to me once when I said, yes, but this is my home, said, but you must remember, Jan is your home. So then I decided, okay, wherever Jan is, that's my home. And that kind of made me feel at home. So wherever, and you
So
know
I'm a
that you will look
homemaker.
after, you are.
God, great, great.
Yes, you
All
are.
right, that's brownie points for me. Please, it was live. Keep that in mind. The other thing that I've found, what happened to me is I sometimes beat myself over the head or beat myself up because the fact that I did not come earlier.
Oh, well, it is what it is,
It
eh?
is what it is, but
Mm.
but it would have been so much nicer if we could have come.
If we could have brought the kids with
Not
us.
the kids that have
Yeah,
come 10 years ago, come 5 years
yeah.
ago.
But then on the other hand, I think when you bring kids, the stresses are even more,
Yeah.
because then you don't only have each other to think
Mm,
about, you have the kids to think about, and so much more to be
yeah.
fighting about, if I
And,
can
and, um, and I
say it
mean,
like that.
if you got kids, you got to listen to what everybody else is saying
Mm.
about the the schools being not good, and some say the schools are great, and this one says that, and this. I mean, you've got so many more influences in your life that could basically ruin your marriage. Because I mean, this is what it's all about this morning: is will your marriage survive immigration? And I actually want to say yes. What's your thoughts?
What?
Will your marriage? What is the topic this morning?
Yes,
Will
your
your marriage
marriage will
survive?
survive
Why?
immigration. It is
Why?
hard work.
Okay.
But if you think about why you moved, and just remember why you love each other, kind of. I'm no psychologist, so I
Mm,
can't really talk about this, but I think the thing is just not to resent each other. It's so easy to
yeah.
resent each other. It's really easy. And it's so easy to, if he makes you angry or whatever, just thinking you're, oh, I'll soon go home. You can't do that. Um, I think you must just learn to be patient with each other, give each other time.
Mm,
Everyone needs different kind of, I mean, maybe he needs 3 months to adjust. I need 6 months to adjust. Some people need 4 years to adjust. Give each other some time. Don't make hasty decisions
right. And we're currently playing around with doing something for the guys that's stuck in New Zealand
without their families.
without their
Yes.
families. I've been struggling to get good information on how many there is really in this area.
Yeah.
But
The,
sadly enough, we can't do the whole country. It's
the
just too
thing
wide.
is, in the end, it probably will be the big cities like Auckland,
Yeah.
and which is sad because you really want to do this for everyone. But I think if you kind of take a video which you can post so that they can also hear, because you will
Yeah.
probably have someone to speak to them a little bit about how to
Yeah.
cope with this.
And
Mm. Yeah, and then while we're on the topic of your relationships, I just want to mention that Labyrinth for Lemonade, the ladies immigrant ladies in South Africa, in New Zealand group, we are going to have another function in May, one in Tauranga, and this year we're also going to do one in Hamilton because we had such a huge interest from the ladies in Hamilton. So we're going to do one in Hamilton. And the topic for this one will be how immigration impacts your relationships with your family back in South Africa and your friends, with the new friends that you make in New Zealand, and most importantly, with your spouse or your partner. So, this is going to be a very, very, very good
yeah.
topic. I think everyone will enjoy it. We're going to have Gustav van Grienen, the psychologist again, who did the last talk, the one that we had last year. He
Can I also
is
say something
brilliant.
this year on that?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I'll be there, guys. I'll be there.
So if you're in Tauranga or Hamilton, or even if you can just drive through, it will be a breakfast this time. So we're going to have the whole morning open with guest speakers and a lovely breakfast, and we can laugh and we can cry and we can just share some um, experiences with each other. So we will put up some when the tickets open and everything. We'll put that up.
And this is important for the girls out there to come to functions like this. I can promise you, I've looked at the books. Nobody's making money there. The thing about this is you got to see that there's other people in the same circumstances as you are, and that's important.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's important. So
yeah. And in the during the whole thing, you probably make a few new friends,
yeah,
and it's nice to hear that you're not
not
alone in
alone.
the boat. Everyone is going through the same thing.
Can I read this? This is from another channel that we running
Mm.
live this morning, saying our marriage has been saved by coming to New Zealand. So thanks, John, for sharing that with
Yes.
us. John Fry's a great guy.
Yeah. I
Um,
think that happens also to a lot of people
yeah,
because, like he says, it keeps you on your knees
yeah,
and you grow closer to God.
that's a fact.
Why am I emotional this
No
morning?
tissues this morning. No tissues. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Okay. So no tissues this morning. You're right.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
just a woman. I cry about everything, you know. If someone's happy, I cry. If someone's sad, I
That's all right.
cry. It's just the
You'll
way
be.
I am.
You will make it. I'm here.
Yeah. So it is great to know that
Mm.
immigration can bring you
Yeah.
closer together. It is really great to
And
know.
that's important that you also bring that message to people around you, people that are going through difficult times.
Yes, tell them not to give up
Mm.
hope. Not to give up
And
hope.
I think if we've got about 8 minutes left, I want to put this out there this morning. If you are thinking of going back, and if you are thinking about the good times that you had in South Africa, take a step back. Really take a step back. Even if you got to write it down, go and write down why have I left South Africa. Put it out there. There is a reason. There was a reason many moons ago when you've left. That reason is still valid today, and even you can amplify that reason by about 10 times because it hasn't got
Just
any
open
better
that
there.
message of Corin there.
So
Corin says, oh, sorry, am I interrupting?
again, like
Okay,
always,
just
like always.
finish.
And if you are in the position where you hear about anybody else that's going through a bad time, stick out your hand.
Yep, yep,
Go to that person, say to them, I do understand. Or you can even say to them, I've got not the faintest idea what's going on with you.
yeah,
But don't give up.
yeah,
Don't give up.
yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And sometimes if you go and ask people 10 years after they got divorced, I'm not talking about the ugly divorces, the easier divorces, people just divorced. You ask them 10 years down the line, why have you divorced? Most of them will tell you because we were stupid.
Yes,
Yeah, sorry
yeah.
about that.
Corin is saying a very true
This
thing.
is Karen Blau.
Um, you, we said it the last time as well. If you're not on the same
Mm.
page with immigration, if you're not 100% sure that this is what you want to do, he has to be sure. Don't take it away.
Sorry.
And you have to be 100% sure. Then don't do it. Don't put yourself through that. You, I don't want to be a doom prophet, as they say, but you're not going to make it if you're not on the same page.
Mm.
This is really hard work. Um, and she also says it depends on the expectations that is set on each other, which is very true. The thing is, what can happen very easily is you can say, well, I had to give up my job. You're the one that wanted to come, so you have to look after me.
Well, that's what you said.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. All right, Karen is actually sending this message to Peter, her husband, saying some men need to understand that help is needed at home. So Peter's going to do the washing tonight.
You know what? I
And
have
but that's a
heard
very important message as
I
well.
have heard from so many women that are so proud of the men in their houses. When I visited one of my friends yesterday, and she also said this is not something that her husband would ever have done. And he now, when she made the dinner, he will say, "You guys sit down, I'll clean up." It's only the two of them; their kids are grown, but it's just the way that it is amazing what you can
Mm.
do if you just kind of give each other a little bit of um, understanding of what they're going through and just help a little bit. It also brings you closer
Can I put
together.
that perspective from my side?
Mm.
I actually drove into a South African guy's house the other morning, Saturday morning, and his wife was cutting grass.
Oh, well. Each to their own. I'm not going to do that.
That's a comment coming up here from many companies have EAP services. I would reckon that's something to do with mental health services. It's free. Ask them to access it. Sometimes talking about it helps. I fully agree. Talking
Mm.
about it helps.
It definitely does. So if you, and the thing is, in New Zealand, which is great, if you have a mental issue or just an emotional issue,
Mhm.
if you need some counseling in whatever way, and you talk to your doctor about it and they refer you, you get 10 free sessions with a counselor in New Zealand. So it's not like you can say, we can't go see someone, it's too expensive, whatever. You get 10 free sessions. So use it. Don't be too proud to use it. It may save your marriage.
Uh, and can I say this to the guys?
Mm.
If you come home tonight and Mommy's Becca's dead, it's like this. Ask her why. Ask her why. Perhaps she needs to talk. Perhaps she needs to talk. Perhaps it was the first time for that day that she has talked or spoken to anybody. So
Mm.
um, just keep that in mind. Just on that EAP, it's Employee Assistance Program. Thanks for clarifying that. Employee Assistance Program. Yeah, they look after their workers. So most of the companies look after their workers in New Zealand. So that's important. If you got that type of feedback or you've got that type of help with the company, use it. Nobody's going to look down on you. It's not that
No,
way. So
no, don't be afraid to ask for help.
yeah,
And really, um, I'm especially talking to the ladies now. If you need someone to talk to and you don't know who to talk to, I've got a whole list of people that are willing to listen to you. So you can just get a hold of
reach out to Mariska. She is on Facebook.
anyone, really. If you even if you just want to cry a little bit, there's a lot of ladies that went through the same thing that you are going through. So please,
And
I'll
guys,
cry with you.
what can save your marriage is buying your wife a lot of stuff. I mean, I've given no really. I've given you a dishwasher,
Really?
vacuum cleaner, hose pipe.
Yes, this is a struggle that we're not going to win this one.
All right, that was. We're nearly done with 30 minutes.
Mm.
You just kept on talking it
Yes, I know.
right through the tears.
I don't know. Yes,
That's good.
very
That's good.
stupid. Yeah.
That's good. Now, I gotta say thank you. If it wasn't for me in South Africa feeling I had to get you to a safer place, I probably would have been still there.
Yes, I think I
Yeah,
have to thank you for bringing me, even though I was kicking and
yeah.
screaming before we came.
She was like, if you take a cat and you put a cat in a bathtub full of water, and you take that cat out. That's how she was. I think the cat would have been easier to handle.
Yeah, I just needed time to get my mind right. That's the thing.
All right. Quick news. Tomorrow we're leaving for the South Island. We're going to be in the South Island for 2 weeks. We're
I
trying.
hope it's not like this.
Yeah, let's hope
Probably
not.
will be.
But we are trying to go more regularly live while we're in the South Island. Hopefully, I don't know what the internet is like on that side, but that will be a challenge for us and for you because if you want to listen to us, we'll have to have good internet. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, we're looking forward to it,
really
and
looking
we're
forward
looking
to that.
forward to meeting
We've
a lot
had
of
so much people saying, "Come and live with us and come and stay overnight." So, thank you to everybody who reached out to us. We are going to use some of your services down there.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably, as we drive, we'll just kind of keep everyone updated of where we are. And if you're available for a quick coffee
Why
or
not? Why not?
really,
Yeah.
then just say,
Why not?
okay, you're in our town now, please come around for coffee or meet us somewhere or
It's
whatever.
raining in Christchurch.
I was thinking we're going to have terrible weather. What is it like? Is it very cold at the moment? I just want to
Yeah,
know what to pack.
I
Probably
think
it's
get a
very
bit
cold.
but
Yeah.
thicker bikey.
But we don't
So,
mind. We've been wanting to
yeah.
go for a long time, so we're really looking forward to it.
So we're going to do a portion down the one side all the way to Invercargill, up the other side. I know it's a bit rushed for 2 weeks, but
Mm.
we are going to go back October, November again to do the other areas that we did not see or where we got rained out. So,
Mm.
what we'll do, I think what we'll do is we post every day where we are going
Mm.
the next day.
Yes.
Or let's say we'll try and do it about 2 days in advance. We've decided if it's a bit crappy on the weather on the one side, we can try and play around to that. So we'll try and put in advance where we are going to be for the next 2 days. And if you're in that area and you want to give us coffee or you want us to buy you coffee, let us know. We'll meet you somewhere if you know where, because we've never been there before.
No.
Yeah,
Are we going to end now? I just want to
it's going
read
to end
that
now.
one post from Alida.
That
And
one.
she says, it makes it easier to know that a lot of marriages are going through the same thing. Everyone is walking the same road and everyone has to deal with it. So, and it kind of gives you the strength to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to push through. That's
Yeah.
very true. Don't give up.
Don't give up, guys. Don't give up. And we're not unique that we are the marriage without any problems.
Not
I
at
can
all.
promise you, she gave me a lot of problems. I promised, actually threatened to send her back to her mother. But then her mother said she doesn't want her.
Oh my, your day is going to be so nice.
There comes the cook roller. Okay, thanks. See you all next week,
Yes, take care.
somewhere along the line. See
Okay,
ya.
bye.
Bye.